Ketogenic diets, carnivore diets, or low carb, high fat. Which diet is the best one to optimize your health? Let's get into it. Welcome everyone to my very, very humble life. Now, let's get into the subject. A lot of people are still confused what type of low carb diet they should do, but they don't really know the blurry lines that have been created between the three. If you choose to do a ketogenic diet, the goal is to get into ketosis to optimize your health. A lot of people don't know what ketosis is. Most carnivore people don't talk about ketosis, doing a carnivore diet. They just simply talk about eating animal products to lower your inflammation and doing fasting combined with that. I'm sorry, that is not enough. A lot of people will end up wrecking their health, and for those who are confused, just go to my comment section and watch people say that they tried fasting and tried carnivore and had worsening symptoms. A lot of gurus can talk, make it sound very easy, but nothing is. It's so individual what works best for that person, said person, and I'm here to kind of clean up the different diets. You guys choose what you think works best for you. You're trying to drive ketosis. Ketogenic diet, keto diet, K-E-T-O is short for ketone, which you're trying to create. This is a unit of fat that your body utilizes as a source of energy instead of just using sugar. Because, well, in nature, there are no bread trees, cracker trees, soda trees, pasta trees. There's none of that. So often we were in ketosis, not all the time. So is it good to drive ketosis all the time? Well, in nature, it's not natural. Is it possible to do it all the time? Of course, because I've done that. But you have to do it in a very smart way. What is it? What do you actually eat, and how do you protect yourself from ruining your health doing a ketogenic diet? We start with high fat coming from animal fat, not the MCT oil, not the olive oil. Basically, your garden variety of animal fats like beef tallow, pork lard, leaf lard, which is the fat around the organs of a pig, suet, which is the fat around the organs of a cow. These are great fats. Lamb fat is great. Bird fat, like duck fat, not so great, higher in omega-6, but you can still have a little bit of it combined with your butters or your tallows or your lamb fat or your lard. Now that we know that animal fats are the best fats to get into a highly adapted keto state, what if you don't have a high functioning gallbladder? And that's a problem, because you need a gallbladder to break down fat. If you can't break down the fat, you cannot get into ketosis. You just can't. Even if you present ketones in the blood, you have to look at your blood sugar and your ketones and your symptomology. So blood sugar should be between 75 and an 83, and your ketones should be between a 1.8 and a 3.0. If you're a few points below or above, that's fine. These are more considered sweet spot ranges. But if your ketones are like a 0.9 or a 1, it's too low. If your ketones are a 3.3 or a 3.5, that's too high. That means they're going higher and higher with nowhere to go. So you're not really using them. The blood sugar, when that gets too high, the brain's going to be like, why do I need ketones? We'll just run on glucose. If the blood sugar is too low, you're hypoglycemic, and that's a mess of hormones beyond measure. Okay, now that you understand the sweet spot ranges, lifestyle. You have to have a circadian rhythm schedule in place. That includes your diet. The quality of food matters. Your Costco meats, they're going to frack you up. If they're inflammatory, you're not going to get into ketosis. You have to know if these foods are high histamine. You do. Because if you have high histamine, histamine can spike your blood sugar, and ketones get very, very picky when the blood sugar is not stable. That goes the same for carnivore. And carnivore is all about getting into ketosis. If your blood sugar is too high, you can't get into ketosis. Even if you call it high fat carnivore, it doesn't matter. A lot of people eat too much protein because they've been lied to and told that if you don't eat high protein, you can't build muscle. Okay, I am full natty. There is no hormones, and I am almost now 60 at this point. Okay? This is not genetics. This is called epigenetics, and it's what you do with your genes. And even though I could crush myself on my ranch of horses, I know my limits. A lot of people don't. And I don't fluck around with cheating on food. No salad dressing from the store, none of that stuff. It's just meat from the butcher. The only thing I'm doing is I'm buying my butter that's grass-fed from the market. And I'm about, because I just found some milk from an A2 cow, and I'm going to make my own butter. I'm done with this nonsense. I want to have a very clean diet as I get older. So my detoxification pathways are so good and functioning so high that as I get into my 60s, I can still live my life as if I'm in my 30s. I'm just saying. Because I got 4 donkeys and 6 horses, and I'm by myself on this ranch, and it is not easy. And I always say I have to have the energy and stamina to get through. I do believe that a ketogenic diet is so pro-endocrine that, I mean, I'm not doing nothing else. You can do a low carb, high fat diet. That's not even a problem. But you have to constantly watch your blood sugar. Because those crashes or those hunger signals, that's when the blood sugar is destabilized, and that affects your endocrine system. Like your thyroid, like your insulin, your reproductive hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. You have so much of a more of a difficult time to stabilize your blood sugar on a low carb, high fat diet, but it is possible. The younger you are, the easier it is. The older you are, the more difficult it is. But then the caveat to all of that is to do a ketogenic based diet, which is keto and carnivore, you need to have a high functioning gallbladder. And a lot of older people, older meaning, well, almost everybody at this juncture, I'm telling you, a lot of people have a junked up gallbladder and they don't even know it. You may not feel nauseous or have yellow stool or pale stool, but you feel full very easily on fat. You have an aversion to it, right? Some people have a histamine response to certain said foods like butter, and people only want to eat butter, and then they force it down and have a reaction. Their ketones are like, the blood sugar is all over the place. They look like they're in ketone for 3 days and then not for the rest. That's not ketosis. I definitely need to do more of a series of videos explaining just because you make ketones doesn't mean that you are highly adapted, and if you're not, that's a hit to your blood sugar stabilization or the lack of solid glycogen storage, because at least when you eat starch all the time, you can refill that glycogen. But if you don't have a gallbladder issue and you moderate your life and you really have control over things, then for me, driving ketosis is the best. Now, with a carnivore diet, it's such a great elimination diet. Bunch of junk that you're reactive to. People who've got SIBO, mast cell activation, these are the ones that do best on a strict carnivore diet for the short term, because you cannot, no one can argue this, you cannot make butyrate or any other short chain fatty acid on the level that you can by adding prebiotic foods like asparagus, for example, or cruciferous vegetables, but asparagus is very high in it. If you cannot tolerate vegetables right now, that's not good. The point isn't to just cut it out, because you lose the ability to tolerate anything. Then you're stuck in a mast cell activation loop forever. And then if you keep being in a mast cell activation loop, all of a sudden now you can't eat red meat anymore, because now your body's responding to the red meat and any bacteria that's grown on that meat, because all the tools to fix the car are being put on the shelf. You're not using them. The goal isn't to sit and be straight animal products only, because you might lose other faculties, and in fact you will to some varying degree. And why the gurus push carnivore so hard is simply because that's their brand. And if you do things long enough, it's very hard to switch brands, because people will not trust why you keep switching things. So they push it and push it, and they kind of bypass any of the problems. There are a lot of benefits to doing carnivore, just not for a long time. And if they say they've done it forever, they are either lying, that they're that strict with no coffee and no wine and nothing that's a plant and no spice or any supplements that can help them, like adaptogenic herbs or anything that can help clear out the liver, like milk thistle. all of it's out of their diet, which I don't believe that they are. I just don't believe them. They can say that they're doing it, but most of them don't look super healthy. That's just my opinion. I own the patent on that. In my eye, I spy with my little eye people pushing stuff that should be freaking shredded, ripped, healthy skin, healthy glow, full natty, without any PEDs, which some of them are taking, in my opinion. I know. Which that's a whole nother deep dive why people are pushing HRTs and peptides. Garbage, people. Don't be fooled by this tomfoolery. Carnivore diets are amazing. I actually coach carnivore diets, but in a way where people can eat high fat. If they have a low functioning gallbladder, there are solutions. There are supplements like milk thistle or malic acid that are plant-based that help. And if you have a histamine response, there are even more things like putting castor oil, which is absorbed into the bloodstream, which is a plant. There's a lot of strategies to help you so you don't feel stuck in a carnivore loop, because it just ends up being like a cult and very zealot-like, and people feel pressured to stick with something that may not be optimizing their health. Ketogenic diets give you more of those plants to be able to fix things. They also can be dangerous because you are not able to restore glycogen storages within the muscle to their capacity. So that leaves room for hypoglycemia, dysglycemia, feeling like garbage. But if you work half-ass on doing a keto diet, it can ruin you. You can become dehydrated. Same thing on a carnivore diet. Heart palps, not enough magnesium into the bloodstream. You can be a hot mess doing anything where you drop all starch and sugars, like starch, potatoes, grains, sugars. Even the berries are sugary. They're too much fructose. Sorry. And you can't do like 20 grams of sugar, like even like little sprinkles of that, and be like, oh, I'm in my sugar allotment. You're not. You're just not. Anything that can be digested quickly is a huge problem. Low carb, high fat should be for those people who literally their gallbladder is just junked up, or they just become too severely hypoglycemic, and a little bit of starch will help them balance themselves for the short term. In that short term, stabilize your blood sugar and get that gallbladder under control. So then if you want to do a carnivore diet for the short term, like 3 to 6 months, or a ketogenic diet for a very long time with a lot of work and consistency, you can. If you don't want to do these ketogenic driven diets, you can do a carnivore diet, low carb, high fat, and be healthy. It just takes a lot more work to not go through a thing called advanced glycation end product because of constantly having to fill glycogen on low carb. You have to be a little scientist and do a bunch of experimentation and figure out what starch works for you. Is it white rice? You can only do a limited amount because that's a lot of sugar in the bloodstream once it's broken down. And then there's things like sweet potato, which some people have an oxalate issue, but it's so low. Most people don't react to oxalates in sweet potato. There's parsnip. There are starches, pumpkin, that you can consume. You can still consume the berries and some fruits on a low carb, high fat. But then if you've got insulin issues, then that becomes a problem as well, because some people have really high numbers. But at the end of the day, the amount of protein, the amount of fat, or the amount of carbohydrates that you consume to optimize your health is very individualistic. Hello. That's the reason why I do all these videos, to kind of like break all of them down. I coach all three because I realize that some people, their gallbladder is so bad, or they don't have a gallbladder and they can't get over the sickness of trying to hit that 200 grams of fat, then a low carb, high fat diet might be more optimal for them. And if they're trying to get the inflammation down, then a very short term, lower in fat, using things like the gristly part of your meat to get protein fibers mixed with fat is easier to digest, and strategies on how to deal with the gallbladder as you're trying to bring down the inflammation and then go back to low carb, high fat. And you can go all different crisscross ways. So comment below if you want me to talk more about how to do these diets, which one is best for you. Like I said, I coach all three diets. I'm not a carnivore, keto, or low carb, high fat zealot. I just coach what works for the individual. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook fan page is Stephanie the Business Person. My website is stephanieperson.com, where you can find all that stuff. Yeah, I love it. Oh, it's gonna thunder. I just heard it. I think I need to get outside. Comment below, share this content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I'm trying to rush. And I'm out. And comment below and share this content and follow me for more. I know. It's about to rain, so peace. Hey, look at that Scooby. Boy, she's running. And a little donkey. Look at that little dog. Scooby's catching up. Oh my God. Oh God. That was the funniest thing I've seen in days. The others gave up.